Good evening, Jai Shri Mataji. So the title of this evening's meeting, meditation session, was a look at Mahavira, which will be the video we'll watch this evening. It's Sri Mahavira. But first of all, we'll just do what one usually does, which is get ourselves in that, what Sri Mataji called a meditative state, which to me means trying to stop thinking, to get out of our daily life, to get out of our environment, to get out of everything that makes us do everything the same way all the time, to go higher and deeper at the same time. So I would just ask you, and we'll raise the Kundalini when we get ourselves centered in a few minutes, just to, as I've said before, just sit and do nothing, which is the aim of this program, to just be, if you like, and try not to do anything, just all sit still the mind, still our thoughts, still our emotions, still our conditionings, and separate ourselves from our environment as much as we can, from our ways of doing things, let them go, and try and do nothing and be nothing, if you like. Try and just be. If you're all Saj Yogis and you've all got your Kundalini raised and awakened, then you don't have to do anything anymore. Yes, I know all the cleansing and the balancing and all that, but that'll happen. I believe that'll happen when we start going thoughtless, because that's when the magic really happens and when the magic starts. And it does take a little while to get to that state. So let's just sit for a few minutes first. And just do nothing. Think of getting yourself in balance now. Think of relaxing yourself from the top of your head to the feet. Check yourself over. Where's the tension? Have you had a bad day, a good day, a happy day, a miserable day, a frustrating day, an angry day, making day? Let it all go. Wash it away. And see if we can just balance, get ourselves in balance. And you know how to do that, how to balance on the left or to the right. And then in a minute or two we'll raise our Kundalinis. But don't be afraid, nothing's going to happen to you before you raise your Kundalinis. You're all well protected. And I do remember, and many people don't know this, but I do remember Sri Mataji saying, get ourselves balanced and centered before raising the Kundalini. It's not some kind of automatic action. It is something that has to be done with full attention and with our heart. So I will put a little bit of music on for this beginning meditation to help calm us all down. Okay? So I'm just going to interrupt you by just reminding us, and we all need reminding, I think, where is my attention? Where is my attention? It stays still for three seconds, sometimes a little bit longer, and then suddenly we find ourselves thinking about this or that, what we've got to do, what we didn't do, what we had to do, and so on. And just bring the attention back to the top of the head, to the Sahasrara, or above the Sahasrara if you like. Let's breathe deeply, let's relax ourselves from the shoulders, our bodies, our legs, down to the feet. Sitting straight, relaxed. And insisting to our amazed mind, be quiet, be still, do nothing. There's nothing to do except just sit here quietly. So now together we can raise our Kundalini and put ourselves in Bandhan. So, as I said earlier, the theme of tonight was a look at Mahavira. The reason is that I really realized that I did not know that very much about this deity, this great personality, this character, this historical figure. Shrimataji has not said so much about him. So I thought I'd do something and put together a little. I thought maybe some other yogis might be interested as well, not know so much about him. So I put together a little video which we're going to look at now. Because as you know, Mahavira sits in the left Agnya, which is in the right temple, where the superego is. And that's where he sits, at the top of the Ida Nadi. Of course, the Nidari also goes right to the back Agnya, but in the right temple is where this energy sits. And therefore, in that way, in that reason, he's really rather important. So I'm going to go over and get the video up. And we'll start.
today we are going to do the puja of Mahavira, and we never had this puja before. The reason for this was that Mahavira's life was an ascetic's life. Just like Buddha, even more than Buddha, it would be, because at the time when these two were born, the Brahminism of the Hinduism had taken a very funny form. People had become extremely ritualistic and they were worshipping all kinds of stones and all kinds of things instead of worshipping only the Swayambhu. But as he belonged to the left side, he has described hell very clearly. Fundamentally, basically, there are 14 hells according to him. And it's horrible to read all that, what he has described about hell. Because he wanted to tell people that if you do all these wrong things, you will go to hell. And he talked about not about forming God, but formless God. Because he didn't want people to again start ritualism, but get to right to the position where they could get their self-realization to cleanse themselves. So you can imagine how difficult in those days at Mahavira was even to be one of the candidates for self-realization. It's frightening for you. That's why I never had this puja. Because to do all these things, first of all, and to become absolutely pure, then only he would give realization. I wonder how many got realization, but the way he made rules for people was so strict. Nobody would have followed him, but he told them about the hell in which they would go if they don't follow. So they were so frightened that they joined him and started following Jainism. Jain means the one who has known, who is enlightened. It's the same word, yeah, means to know. Ja from means to know. When I started Sahaja Yoga, if I had started like Mahavira, how many would have joined me? Even when we have raised the Kundalini, you have got your realization, there is not much of detachment. So the things that are said about Mahavira are taken to the extreme that one day he was meditating and he had only one piece of cloth on him wrapped with a dhoti and he had covered himself up with one piece of cloth. So when he was coming out of his meditation, his cloth got entangled with some bush. So he had to take off half of it. Then Krishna came to tease him as a beggar. And he said, you are a king and you can always get something cloth, but I am shivering. So why don't you give me this piece of cloth that you have? So he gave him his cloth and covered himself with some leaves and went into his palace and changed himself into his house and changed his clothes. So these horrible Jains made his complete nude photograph so huge, 150 feet height, nude, absolutely nude into details. They were stupid things. There are followers of his so-called, we never had such followers, but they call themselves as Digambaras, means they do not have cloth, but their cloth is all the directions, Digambara. Directions are their cloth. And they walk on the streets, walk everywhere in the villages, absolutely nude. I mean, horrible things people do in the name of Mahavira. Now, as you have got realization I'm sure you won't go to that extent. But still, you must learn to have self-discipline. If you have no self-discipline, you cannot jump into that depth where there is complete Keval Gyan, means absolute knowledge, absolute love, and absolute joy. So the self-disciplining is very important. Of course, we did not go to the Mahavira's extent now because luckily I have given you realization. But still, do not go back to things which you have left.
Mahavira is the incarnation of Bhairavnath, or you call him at Saint Michael. Now these two saints, as you know, one is the Gabriel, Hanumana, and another is Saint Michael. One is placed on the Pingala Nadi and another one, Saint Michael, on the Ida Nadi. Mahavira had to go through lots of search. Of course, he was a angel, but came as human being. And he had to find out the thing of the left side and how the left side acts. It's a very complicated thing, left side. It's much more complicated than right side. So Mahavira went quite deep onto the left side. Why I said it's difficult, the left side, is because when you start moving on the left side, the movement becomes linear, of course, but it moves downward. While the movement on the right side moves upward. So he has mentioned practically in details lots of things that can happen to a person who goes to the left side. He gave the idea of hell. He also described 7 types of hell. I mean, it's so horrible that I don't want to tell you what is hell is. It's horrifyingly cruel, horrifyingly joyless, and horrifyingly so repulsive that you hate yourself when you understand you have committed this mistake, you have committed this pap, this sin, and then what is the result? What you get, the punishment part. Mahavira worked it out, everything. He has given in all details what sort of punishment is due to a human being who tries to be left-sided. Also he has given about the person who is right-sided. But not to that extent, because he had to deal with the combination, but mostly with the left side. So when a person is possessed, as you must have seen, a person gets possessed, he cannot feel vibrations. There are all kinds of symptoms about such a person. But in Sahaja Yoga, what do? Is to take the name of Mahavira. Because Mahavira runs all the way on the Ida Nadi and comes and stays here unto the, we can say, the point which is for our superi. And it sees, controls, works out, cleanses, and does all that is required to put a person right after surgery. So we have to be really very thankful to him for doing this kind of work, which is very filthy and dirty. Now, why was he called Mahavira? Because only a person like him, Veera means a person who is brave, who is chivalrous. Because only he could do this. So only he could enter into the being fully and could uh, kill, or we can say destroy, those horrible rakshasas, devils, all these negative things that come to us. Now, as you know, we use left side very much for so many negativity that is torturing us. But if there is no help, say from Mahavira, we cannot do it. We call the name of Mahavira, we could call him Saint Michael, we can call him by any name, but Mahavira because he was a human being. All this works out because of him. And he is such a great identity. He himself took a birth as a human being, difficult for saints to take birth as human beings. So we have to thank really very much Mahavira, who has given us this power to remove our left-sided problems, who has given us this light in our hand, which he himself vibrates, and he himself tries to throw some light on the obscure things about me also. Because of him only, we can get cured of so many physical and mental troubles. You know that the left side can be easily cured if you use 3 candle treatment. That shows Mahavira is only fond of light. He doesn't like darkness. And his idea is, I think that way, is to now fully go all the way to clear the left side as far as possible, to help Sahaja Yoga to be established in countries where I find still a lot of this negativity is there.
Let's just sit for a moment and we'll do a little meditation. Before we meditate, I will say, and please you do too at home if you like, just the mantra to Sri Mahavira. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahavira Sakshat Shri Arishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. So let's just now continue sitting quietly, doing nothing, thinking nothing, worrying about nothing, hoping for nothing, looking forward to nothing, looking back on nothing. And if we have to put our attention on anything, let's put our attention on the help that Srima Mahavira can give to cleansing and balancing our left channel, our Ida Nadi. So we don't want to put our attention on our left channel now, on the Ida Nadi. We want to balance ourselves and place our attention and our energy onto the central channel, the Sushumna Nadi, and the Sahasrara. And we all together do this, we can feel a change. And in some magical way, through Zoom, the vibrations all meet and can combine together. So let's gently continue to bring our attention back to the Sahasrara, back to the Sahasrara, and again back. So again, we just need to check, where is my attention? Bring it back to Sahasrara. As we empty our minds, detach ourselves from our surroundings, detach ourselves from the people around us, from our daily habits that are not us, our conditionings, let's detach from all of those things. We are the awareness of all those things. So just look again that we're in our central channel in the Sushumna Nadi. Our attention is in the Sahasrara or above it, or as high as you want, to get our attention up there and keep it up there. And just try and stay vigilant against our thoughts and all the interference into that silence which we can reach. So if we're all deep in this silence and creating this silence, it can be a powerful union on a very subtle level through the Param Chaitanya. Even though we're all separated by miles, it's possible to feel it. So remember, if thoughts persist, we can just say to them, not this, not this. Or even, what's my next thought going to be? That creates silence. And in that silence we really become Sahaj. We really become spontaneous, guided and directed by our higher selves that we become. So just a couple more minutes of being still, serene, powerful, calm, still, but awake. So we can now raise our Kundalini again and put ourselves in Bandhan. So we come to an end this evening. Thank you for joining me. And the Christmas holidays are approaching, so I can only send all my best wishes for that you all have a most enjoyable Christmas. Full of vibrations, full of happiness, full of joy. And that we can go into the new year invigorated and stronger than ever. So I wish you all very well, and take care of yourselves. Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.